Hey everybody, this is Wilhelm the Wonderful, the greatest Viking master shipbuilder in upstate New York, possibly the entire East Coast, or maybe all of North America. Har! And I'm always doing something crazy, and perhaps I've finally gone off the deep end. Yes! So what we have here is a 40-foot long replica of a Viking dragon ship. We have a cardboard mock-up of the dragon head and two 18-foot Starcraft aluminum boats from the 1960s or 70s. I am mounting these two boats on a 12-inch steel I-beam, which you can see right there. And these boats have got all these nice lines similar to a Viking craft. On the website you'll find a link to faux wood painting, which will make a wood grain pattern on these boats that's like amazingly original. So we'll take another look at the keel here, seeing as how we're not in that World Cup racing thing where they hide all their keel information. So 12-inch I-beam, and down here towards the middle we have a 6-inch high railroad rail that's molded into the center of the I-beam. It's 500 pounds for the railroad rail, 500 pounds for the I-beam, giving me 1,000 pounds to counterweight the sail. We're looking between the transoms. You can see the I-beam running through there, and underneath it, halfway down, is the rusty railroad rail. The boats are just sitting on a couple of pallets. They're a little rocky. Step up here, and bought in as-is condition. The hulls are in great shape, and we're going to refit the interior with wood, give it that original feeling. This is the rubber belting material that I've put between the keel and the bottom of the boat. Now we're walking up towards the front of the boat. You can see the keel under there. The dragon head, the wood support for the dragon head will sweep down in front of the boat all the way down to the bottom of the keel. One long graceful arc. Over here we have my first wooden dragon head, which is pretty funky. Never made me a dragon head before. Of course, I wrestled a few, but I never had to actually, fabricate one. Took Dragon Wrestling 101 back in college. So I've got some navigation lights from a boat, some antlers from a sheep, and some cow horns in the back there. This isn't quite what I wanted. I mean, it's not a bad dragon head. You know, it's probably a class 3 trophy type dragon, but you know, we're gonna see if we can't get like a class 6 dragon head, or class 7 maybe, by the time I'm done for the dragon lady here. So we're gonna walk down this boat on this side. That cardboard is about 4.5 feet high. The wooden one's going to be 6 feet off of that blue top deck. The bolts are just resting on these pallets. I'm just welding up the supports between the boats and the I-beam. I've got that pretty well engineered. So I'm going to take a quick walk here over here to the workshop, where we are making our class 6 dragon head. World records are about a class 9. They're really hard to come by, but we're working on it. So these are my experimental dragon skins. You'll see in a minute how I carve the wood. I'm taking good old Gorilla Glue, or even regular, this is like just regular Elmer's here. Mix it with stain and add some sawdust, and you get kind of a something dragon skinny. This one has got sawdust on the... This one doesn't have sawdust. This was a reddish stain. This was an earlier version. This here, you can see the Gorilla Glue really foams up. So if you can mix it with an oil-based stain and then foam it up, and then you can stain the sawdust first and mix it in. This one here is a mix. It was so dry I didn't think the glue would set. There was so little glue and stain and so much sawdust, but it worked fine. This here is just Gorilla Glue with the stained sawdust added later. And this side has got Gorilla Glue without any stain. And see how it foams up, and then I just rub some stain over the top of it. And this one here is regular Elmer's glue with sawdust, and then the stain added later. This one is just oil-based paint. This stuff from Michael's. And you mix it with Gorilla Glue, and it still foams. And this is hard and lumpy, and I threw some white sawdust in. And this piece of wire is embedded in it. Like here, this piece of wire is really stuck in there. So I'm making whiskers. And I'm going to use this, I think, in the mouth to hold in the prehistoric shark's teeth that I bought on eBay. They're on their way. So the mouth is going to have these are the bulbs that I'm getting ready. These are going in the dragon's eyes with a high-low. So it'll have the low intensity, and then I'll be able to flash the eyes to a bright one. This is the one I think I'm going to use. The wood is all carved, and I think this one is the one I like best, this darker color. I think it works better without adding any sawdust. This is another experiment with the sawdust. But the sawdust fills in the notches. You lose those notches, which this still has, which I think gives it the right look. Here we have more cow horns. eBay. Down here we have our Class 6 dragon head. Took quite a while to sort this out. I had to make a number of sketches and scale. Now this dragon head is going to just be underneath the red lights on the highway when it's on the trailer. So I had to scale everything out, the boat, the trailer, the keel, how high I could get it, still clear the traffic lights. So once I got it sorted out after many sketches, in fact here's one here. So I used this grid paper, made different kinds of sketches. Once I figured out the scale, like how far ahead of the bow do you want the nose to be, things like that. And then to figure out how to lay down the lumber and maintain integrity for the whole thing to be strong when you're done is kind of a trick. So once I got that scale, I laid it out on cardboard. And I got that piece of cardboard that's 6 feet tall. Then, from the piece of cardboard, I laid out my wood and cut the wood with a saber saw. And it needs a little bit more down here. But down on this end is where it's going to match to the front of the boat. And so you'll see a later video on how that all matches up. And what I have is a 2x12 on the top and the bottom and a 2x4 in between, so that it's hollow. It's not all solid. And this here is a pair of 2x4s because this is going to take a lot of the load. So it's a hollow neck. Reason being, I'm going to have a smoke generator in it down in the boat, and I'm going to blow smoke out the nose of the dragon. And also I have to get the electricity up to the eyes. Now these are the bow lights. Let me grab the other half here. So initially this was a bow light that looked like this. And I took the bandsaw and cut it in half, and this is something like that. And I'm going to fill it all up with sawdust and wood glue so it doesn't have that chrome look. And right behind the eyes will be the horns. The horns that you saw earlier on the first model. And then I'm experimenting with some whiskers. This is electrical wire that's, once it's in that glue, the darker spot is a mix of stain, Gorilla Glue, and sawdust, which is probably going to be all down the inside of the neck. So I'm going to have different textures in different parts of the dragon. Here you can see the 2x4 in the middle and the 2x12s on the top and bottom. So that's about where we are right now. And this is Wilhelm the Wonderful signing off in Dragonland, upstate New York. Dragon capital of the universe. Har!